so much. He was on X Factor, and he doesn't pronounce words right.
I know. James Arthur. Yeah.
There's a slew of people like who sing like acoustic covers, you know, that did the same thing as him, and I hated it so much because they aren't saying words correctly.
Mate, I've got it, mate. A mate of ours, you know him actually. Every time James Arthur comes on, he just turns around and looks at wherever the music's coming from, and he goes, "James, blow your nose."
Before you do the take, mate, come on. Yeah. Oh,
it's just like, it just bunged up.
Yeah.
What's going on with your nose? You've had a cold for the last 10 years, James.
Yeah, I know.
Sort it out. Get some Calpol or something, mate. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I know exactly what you mean. I'm not a fan of it either. So yeah, and I think that trick contributes to people's just like one-hit wonders, because they have this song that's got a really weird, unique sounding voice.
Yeah.
But once you get past the voice, you realise the songs aren't that good, and then it's just done. You're over.
Yeah,
you know, there's no substance there. Just because you've got an interesting voice that people aren't used to, it won't get you far. Anyway, so that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, and I guess there's also genres, I think, that have become so connected to a certain accent that you now almost can't sing an entire genre without that accent. Country music being a prime example. It's like you can't sing country without an American accent, without a Southern accent.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, try it. Try singing My Lonesome Heart without a Southern accent. Try singing that in a Scouse accent. See how far that gets you.
Yeah, you're right. You know, that's interesting.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the word, you know, same with rock. Like, oh, mind you, you've already given me an example of Biffy Clyro, but if you think of sort of like Guns N' Roses or Aerosmith, that style of like classic rock, it's like, it's super American.
Or like early metal with like Iron Maiden, the almost operatic kind of vibrato they'd put on those notes, you know.
Yeah.
They were all doing it though. They were all doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true actually. I mean, yeah, maybe I'm being too harsh on it. But no, I don't think I am. You know,
no, I've listened to your point, and you're wrong. I'm right. Yeah, mate, I'm with you. It almost breeds the greatest of artists. Maybe not greatest, but the most sort of groundbreaking at the time. For example, Arctic Monkeys. Like that guy's singing in his own accent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alex Turner, especially when he first came out. I know he puts on an American accent now, but
now, Jesus Christ, yeah. What is he doing?
Well, that's a different conversation, which we'll have in a second. But like, yeah, when he first came out, that was just his voice, wasn't it? Like straight over the top, or like Mike Skinner as well from the Streets.
Yeah,
like I guess it's a bit easier with like rapping and stuff. You can be in your own accent, but it's like, you know, everyone turned around and they're like, okay, this is just regular indie that everyone's making. The music's the same, but the thing that made Arctic Monkeys was great. Monkeys great was his accent and his lyrics and what he was singing about. Do you know what I mean? The chords and the music were the same as every other indie band.
Sure, yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and you know, I think that is cool. I actually do I do like it when you've got bands that do sing with their own accent, or singers rather that sing with their own accent, especially if it's from somewhere I'm not from. It's quite refreshing because you know, when people put on their singing voice, it does become very neutral a lot of the time, or and it can get, I guess, a bit, unless they're an amazing singer. And if let's face it, with like indie bands, a lot of them weren't good singers. Like technically, they weren't good singers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that really added to it. Yeah, listening back, I used to listen to a lot of bands that were just, oh god,
terrible singers.
Started listening to Foals again. You ever listen to Foals?
No, I didn't. No,
you missed out on them.
No,
they're a band. I used to love them. Their drummer is fantastic. Their first album called Antidotes was amazing. The drums on it were just so unique. And as a drummer at the time, I'm still a drummer, but I would listen to that and just be so inspired by it. And I learned so many of those grooves from that album.
Nice.
And as they've gone on though, man, it's just, and they had a horn section. Sorry, that was another thing. The whole album, all the songs had horn sections on them. on an indie band. So it was really cool.
Yeah,
and it was all really tight, and there was like hardly any reverb. Okay.
Yeah.
Just remember, hold on to that point. And as we've gone on through the years, all these indie bands have turned into, they've just been recording stuff in like giant cathedrals or something. And there's just, everything's so messy. And there's just like these, I don't know what they're doing. I really don't like it. But they've just shoved reverb on everything. And it's just like all atmospheric. And just, they're saying the same word over and over again. And just doing these like super long songs that are, it's lost its way, I think, totally.
You know, I was really impressed by that Always album. Do you say Vase or Always? I know it's 2 V's.
I've been saying Vase, but I don't know the correct pronunciation.
We're going to go Vase. Gavel down.
Cool.
Always.
There we go. Good.
If we're wrong, they're going to have to change their name now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were so good, man. That record is fantastic.
It's awesome, isn't it?
It's quite a nice change, actually, from what I've been listening to recently. I think when music is your job, you tend to like get very deep into things and go into like old genres and very niche things, and you know, you don't listen to like indie and pop as much as you used to anyway, or the general public. And it was great to get an album like that and like get back to some just good creative indie pop music. It's brilliant. Yeah, really 100%. Good stuff.
Yeah, they're worth checking out, I think, if anyone hasn't heard them. And I mean, I was introduced to them by Flight, which you introduced me to, who are another really, really cool indie band. Like, but again, they're just another level, really.
They're more of the sort of traditional songwriting. There's a lot of like middle era Beatles, a lot of Rubber Soul, Revolver era Beatles going on. And just like the lyrics are incredible, the harmonies are incredible, you know, where the chords go and the keys and that. Yeah, that sort of thing. And again, the drummer in Flight, his creativity is fantastic. Yeah, like he's not just playing like meat and veg stuff. He's like he's really just coming up with creative stuff. Like I find a lot of drummers sometimes just play basic stuff. Whereas if you're in a pop band like that or an indie band, you can do some stuff that you'd think was quite weird. But when the record comes out, you think actually that's good. It fits in and it's creative and all this sort of stuff, you know.
Yeah, just listening to their songs, you can hear, you know that each one of them has really thought about the sound. And if you look at the drummer live, you see his kit, like he's you know, he shoved like about 5 tea towels on his floor tom, and he's thought about how he's going to get that super dead sounding drum, and you know, you can just see there's like weird percussion things attached to his kit at random angles that he can hit for just one song, you know, and it's just, you know that they're thinking about it in a really, really good way, and it shows in their songs. Their songs are amazing. They use a bit of reverb, but in a good way. They use it in a tasteful way, I think, a lot. But it's just check out the first Foals album and the last Foals album, and just hear the difference. Just pick any random song in there, and just the tightness and the creativity of that first album compared to the generic stuff that's the new one. I don't know what I'm going to say. Sorry again.
Cool.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'll get on it.
Yeah, I need to get the CDs on. Get my CD player out and get it hooked up.
Yes, that's something we need to talk about in the future. Hi-fi.
Yeah,
that's something blokes love.
Absolutely.
Records, CDs, big expensive boxes that do very little but look very cool. That's what we need to talk about.
Yeah, I'm 100% with that. Mate, it's looking about that time, isn't it?
It is. It's kicking out time. It's last orders.
I heard the bell.
In the virtual pub. Yeah.
Oh, we should get a bell. We should put a bell. I'll get a bell.
A last orders bell, yeah.
Last orders bell.
I've got the gavel for when we agree. Yeah. You need the last orders bell. Perfect.
I'm on it.
Mate, as always, what a pleasure.
Yeah, mate, I loved it. I needed this. I think I say that every week, but I really needed it this week. So this is good.
Good. I'm glad. Likewise, awesome. Man. Yeah, it's always enjoyable.
Cool. Well,
terrific.
On that bombshell,
over and out.